Has Anderson Manufacturing transcended from poverty pony to workhorse? Today on Randy Reviews It, we just might find out. Stick around. All right, I hope you enjoyed the intro, but we're back and we're going to get right into it. So about a year ago, my friend Louie down at the Cigar Lounge was asking me, Randy, I liked your AR tier list, but why'd you dog on Anderson that way? I saw someone shoot 1,000 rounds with an Anderson in one sitting. I think you did him dirty. And, I believe that he saw someone do that. I've seen some sketchy QC things in the past, but when Anderson announced that they were going the other way on their guns, we're not making things cheaper. We're looking at doing a little more advanced stuff with our guns or a little more mid-tier, and we're doing what seems to be better QC as well with the guns. So spoiler alert, I've shot 1,000 rounds through this Anderson Frontline 16-inch M-Lock gun, and there have been no issues. The gun has locked back on every mag. It's very consistent and accurate. I shot all my 1,000 rounds were Callaway Ballistics 55 grain remanufactured. When I'm doing these tests, I'm not exactly spending top dollar on match grade ammunition, nor do I think you should have to for a gun that's consistent or does what it needs to do. So this is a 16-inch rifle, and it should do rifle things. There's a lot of other YouTubers and gun tubers. I'm not going to name names necessarily because there's too many to name, but they go out and do pistol things with a rifle. Well, I took this rifle and I put it through some rifle paces, what I was able to, because the range that I shoot at only goes out to 200 yards. So in order to test this, the accuracy and the consistency of it, I put on a Romeo 5 with the Juliet 5 magnifier so I could take my eyes out of the equation as far as an inverse variable or something along those lines. And I want to play a clip for you now of that sweet, sweet steel music coming from this Anderson Frontline. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, I was just ringing torso target, or I should say it's a smaller torso. It's not like mine or anything like that. It's smaller than most adult male torsos at 200 yards. I was hitting a plate at 170, like a 4-inch and a 6-inch plate. No problem with this. It was easy. The trigger isn't like the greatest thing in the world. It feels like a mil-spec trigger. The trigger guard, I wish they would have made that a little bit like enlarged or something along those lines. But to walk you through what it has, we got anti-rotation tabs on the handguard here. So if you can see those in there, we got a nice lockup here on the handguard as well. I'm not sure exactly what this is called, if it's some sort of, drive lock, wedge lock, clamp, something. It's nice. It's definitely better. You get a Break Arms charging handle on this, which is ambi, and it does what it needs to. You get the good Magpul furniture on this. So it's got the little trap door and everything in the bottom. The SL stock, the MOE SL stock, which I'm a big fan of. Really like that stock. And overall, you get a lot for this gun. So this gun is coming in right around $850. And that's definitely more than Anderson's typical offerings. But not to be a complete AR snob, I don't think I'd spend less than $700 on an AR. On an AR, 700 to 1,000 is what I consider budget. Anything below 700, I'm not going to touch. I'm not going to trust it. I'm not going to think that anyone should buy it. I tested a Bear Creek a while ago, but part of it was just my research on, I wanted to know if all those things with Bear Creek that people say were true. Guess what? They were. If you watched that video, you saw the handguard came off. I talked about having to mortar my first AR-15 because a round got stuck in the chamber and it wasn't extracting. This was the exact opposite. It was no failures, lock back, textbook AR-15. I took the bolt carrier out and all that stuff, looked through the gun. I didn't clean it in the 1,000 rounds. It wasn't until the end that I actually cleaned it just to look at wear and stuff. And the wear is normal. It's what you would expect. I don't see any like gouges or like weird scratches or anything, because on an AR-15, I think you should fire 1,000 rounds before you trust it on anything. Just because everyone has a QC error. You can't buy your way out of it. You can mitigate it with money. You know, Sons of Liberty is probably having a little more QC than Anderson, let's be honest. That's the way it is. But if you put 1,000 rounds through an AR-15 and you look at the wear on everything and it looks normal, I think you're good to go. If you see like irregular wear or something like that, then you need to start considering what's going on, looking into some things. Maybe take it to a well-versed gunsmith and figure out what's going on. Let's move this light here back where it should be. So, the Anderson Frontline. I think they did the right thing here. I like what they're doing. They made me eat crow. This gun has performed very well. Do I think it's the best gun in that budget? It's a toss-up. So I'm a big fan of the IWI Zion. I think IWI does good stuff. I also wanted to add that Anderson did send this gun out. This is a T&E gun, and it's going to be going back to them. I'm not really like a fan of 16-inch guns in general, but I understand it's the standard, and it allows me to test the stock without being a royal pain. So I appreciate that Anderson sent this out. I'm happy that it performed well, and I don't have to give bad news about it as well. Yeah. The IWI Zion is also hard to find, or it seems to be. So, oh, excuse me. I think that if you bought the Anderson Frontline, you would not be disappointed with it. I know Joe over at Shooting Gallery, he got like an 11.5, and it did have some issues. I went with a 16-inch, just kind of their standard. Usually with an 11.5, I get something fancy like a mid-gas or something adjustable, because those are just violent guns in general. I'm not writing off that it seems like he had an issue and that Anderson had to change some of their gas block stuff with his. But my experience has been different. This thing is run. If you're looking for, you know, your first AR-15, I don't think you would be disappointed, especially if you got the 16-inch one. I can't speak for that 11.5. I know he got it running, like Anderson returned it within a week and he got it running. But I think stick with the 16-inch. Stick with the tried and true. This is a mid-length gas too. So the Bear Creek Arsenal was like a 16-inch carbine gas, and it was miserable. This is a 16-inch mid-length. It's good. I liked it. Hats off to Anderson, and get ready to see where they fall on the tier list this year. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. I would appreciate a like. If you're not subscribed, the subscribe helps. Just trying to grow the channel a little bit more, have a little more fun with it. I'm trying to do the stuff that I want to do on the channel. You might see some videos where I'm less than enthusiastic coming out in the next few weeks. Don't take it personally. I'm just over some of the Instagram stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. See you next week.